Hey everybody, this is Caleb with Common Motor. Today we are going to be showing you how to replace the cam chain in your engine without having to disassemble the whole thing. We're going to be installing a new cam chain on the CB360 engine, but this process is going to be just about the same for all of the vintage Hondas we support. CB175, 200, 350, 360, 450, 550, and 750. All of them can have the engine pooled. You can take apart the top end a little bit and run a new cam chain through the engine if you need to. It's a pretty simple process. All we really need is our chain breaker tool, some safety wire, and a few wrenches and sockets to get the engine apart and back together. We're gonna start by taking apart the top end of our 360. We're gonna take apart the breather cover and the head cover. Now, your engine, if you're not working on a CB360 engine, is gonna be a little bit different, so follow along for the process, but make sure you're following the service manual step by step so you get the ins and outs of exactly what your engine needs when it comes apart and goes back together. Now that we've removed the head cover, broke the cam chain, I have it temporarily held up with these little zip ties and bolts in the engine. We're going to go ahead and remove the cam chain tensioner from the engine. On the 360, it's really simple. There's a little cap with some bolts and it comes right out. If you're working on a different model motorcycle, like the smaller twins, the 350s, 450s, they have a small tensioner assembly that you can unbolt from the side here and let some pressure off the cam chain that way. The next step in this process is safety wire. There's a lot of different ways you can attach the new cam chain to the old cam chain to run it through the engine, but safety wire is going to be the most secure. Last thing you want to do is drop the cam chain down at the bottom end of the engine and have to fish it back out. Now that we have the new cam chain attached to the old cam chain with some safety wire, we are going to remove our safety bolts and cut the zip ties. We'll take that one out, cut this zip tie, and actually I'm gonna leave this one in. and start to feed the chain through. Oh yeah. All right, we've ran the new cam chain through. We're gonna cut the old cam chain off. Now that we have the cam chain run through this engine, it's also a good opportunity for us to inspect the cam journals on the CB360. Oftentimes they can be chewed up. We can inspect my cam chain tensioner system, which was in bad shape. Half of it was broken. And inspect the camshaft. Since I already have it removed, I can check for signs of wear. Nearly all the vintage Hondas we work on are going to be a pretty simple process for reinstalling the cam chain masterlink. We're actually going to do it before we put back in the camshaft and the sprocket. Now, if you're working on a CB450, a CL450, or a CB500T, it's a bit different of a process. Instead of being able to install the cam chain first, that is going to be the last thing you do, and it is a bear. So if you have any troubles installing the cam chain in your 450 engine, again, don't forget to reach out to our support at common-motor.com. Before we install the cam chain masterlink, we're gonna take a few rags or paper towels and stuff them down in the engine. We want there to be zero chances of us dropping this masterlink down in the engine. If you haven't seen how to install our cam chain masterlinks, don't forget to check out our how to install a cam chain masterlink video.
Our cam chain uses an interference fit with the outer plate of the masterlink. This means that you will use a chain breaker chain press tool to press the outer plate onto the center pins to install it.
We are just going to slowly wiggle the plate side on until we have it tight enough to feel like we have a good fit. You do not want to go too far because you could cause the cam chain to bind. There we go. Not too tight so the chain can still move freely, but we are also far enough through the plate so the chain's poking out on each side. Now we're going to go ahead and put the camshaft sprocket back on, align the camshaft to the crankshaft. Keep in mind, depending on what bike you're working on, this process is going to be different. Make sure to check your Honda service manual for the exact steps of aligning your camshaft to your crankshaft, putting the head back on, torquing everything back in the proper order and to spec, and putting the engine back in your frame. Again, this is Caleb here with Common Motor. Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our newsletter at common-motor.com. Subscribe to this YouTube channel right down below. See you next time.